Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our session. My name is Evelina of Atanassova.
I'm Laura Galloway. We are joining you or here from UMass Global. University of Massachusetts has a global campus as well, and we are faculty members in the School of Business and colleagues for over 10 years. Over 10, yeah.
Questions were in the house. But yeah, this year we know that AI is overwhelming everything that we are doing. So we decided to take a proactive stance and look into ways that we can actually integrate AI into our curriculum. We're both, we forgot to mention, from the School of Business and Professional Studies. And you know that our biggest challenge in academia is what? It's how to stay relevant to the workforce. And if we are not embracing AI at this point, we are staying way behind what business needs are. So what we are going to present to you is our efforts for this academic year, what we try to do to stay relevant, to stay current, and also to serve our students. And this service is in how do we prepare them to be successful in an AI-enabled world. So with that being said,
It's something I conclude.
this is not AI-enabled Twitter.
No, now it works.
Oh, that works. So as our was introduced earlier, AI is challenging a business curriculum. We saw some examples earlier today of how it's challenging in the programming and manufacturing. In business curriculum, we promise our students that we are preparing for the job that they want or the job that they currently have to be more successful. If we're not teaching them AI, businesses are wanting them to learn AI. So we have to be at the front end of this wave of this disruption of technology. And so our students are using AI. They actually introduced AI into our classroom before we did, but we're trying to catch up. And this is what we did this year. Is really trying to integrate appropriately AI into the curriculum. So the students are not only practicing and learning it, but build competencies so that when new tools come up, they know how to address them. We won't be able to train them on the tools today they're going to need in 2 weeks or 2 years from now, but we may need the competencies to do that. So you're going to see how we have designed that into our curriculum later on. I want to also add, if you have questions as we move on, please do raise your hand. We'd love to hear from you. I know you want to wait till the end, but if there's something that I'm going to pass up that you want to, that we will pass up that you're going to want to ask, please do so. AI integration, it's not a technology problem, it's a curriculum design problem. And so that's the question we really tackled with this past year in partnership with our institution and partners within our school, specifically with our instructional design course as well. So the real challenge is not how to use AI tools, but to help students progressively think critically about AI tools and how to apply it. We want them to be sitting in those job interviews and being able to articulate the use of, the practical use, ethical use, and strategies for using AI, not just can they use a tool, how can they use the tool, and explain that. So our purpose was to design a coherent developmental approach that builds AI competency across our BBA curriculum. We just looked at our BBA curriculum essentially as a pilot so that things that we learn can be applied to additional programs as well. So that students can learn, think, and grow in their future professions. Learning and curriculum theories. We used some theories to infuse in and design our framework. We looked at a constructive alignment, making sure that learning outcomes and experiences aligned with what they were learning. Learning theory, learning is an active process. as well as adult learning theory. We are an online institution. UMass Global is an online institution. Most of the majority of our students are adult learners, so they are already have full lives, full families, full jobs, multiple careers, and in some cases, multiple attempts at college. And so we wanted to make sure that we captured their particular learning approach as well. And then, of course, Bloom's taxonomy, making sure this is a BBA program, that our design is appropriate for their learning process as well. And then we have qualitative design based curriculum study. So our study essentially was a qualitative design approach. Our goal was to identify, define, and embed workforce relevant AI competencies, as I mentioned before, within our existing BBA program. That's both pedagogically sound as well as institutionally feasible. One thing we learned earlier is there's a big appetite for a lot of AI tools. We had to figure out what's the right appetite, what can we afford, and what can we put into our classroom. We didn't want to delay. And so what was appropriate for us. And so doing that. So a couple things that we did to ensure that appropriateness level. An environmental scan. Of course, we looked at what is happening in workforce trends. What do we see employers behaving? What are they looking at? What are they looking for? We looked at job announcements. We looked at placements. We also looked at our internal, not only external, but also what patterns of behavior and employability for our current students. We also looked at an AI literacy and competency frameworks. We were part of an AAC and U group this past year, where we were a part of 192 other institutions tackling this as well. So we shared resources. We were looking at different frameworks, different philosophies, different reasons for build. And what we noticed is across all of these, we're all at different pieces, different on this journey, but we're all on the journey. And then, of course, pedagogy and curriculum task force working sessions. We had internal conversations as well, where we invited both staff, faculty, and students to participate in the conversations so that we can be informed as we're building this framework, what they're looking for, what they want, and what their challenges are, and what maybe their reluctances are along the way. So what the outcome was is that we essentially created our very own 8 AI competencies that can be mapped and tiered across all curriculums. We started with our piloted MBA curriculum. So we're going to show you that those AI in just a moment. My colleague will talk about those. So how we conducted essentially this study. It was interactive, very collaborative. It was contextualized, grounded both in theory and workforce expectations, and it was purpose-driven, always looking at what our BBA students say. I want to point out that contextualized was one of the most important pieces of how we concluded this, because AI is so large. We wanted to contextualize it to say, we are grounding what we want to infuse in AI based on what the trends are in the workforce. That is what our students want. Our adult learners want to learn today what they needed to know yesterday. And so we have to be very clear about what our expectations are and what their needs are as well. We had we used a lot of different activities to do this. What happened was, and our output was a validated and tiered curriculum and AI staff as well. Be ready about that.
Okay. So here are our 8 AI competencies that we decided are fundamental based on the whole process that we engaged in terms of researching business needs, students' need, and again, our institutional goals. So as you can see, those competencies start with AI literacy and fundamentals, moving to data privacy, advanced prompting, AI tools and automation, programming AI agents, critical thinking and problem solving, strategic AI use, and communication skills. Because one of the challenges we are facing with AI is how to still stay human and promote that we people are still better than AI in some areas. Communication, it's our thing, it's not its. So these are the 8 competencies that we created, and those are the competencies that we want to embed throughout the program. So our goal was a student enters, and the program is our Bachelor in Business Administration. And our goal is that a student enters from class 1 until class last, as they are learning how to become business administrators, they're also concurrently developing those AI skills, starting from fundamentals all the way down to strategic leadership and communication. The next thing we decided to do is also put those competencies in tiers. So we came up with 4 tiers, and as you can see, tier number 1 is AI aware practitioner, where we put the competencies of AI literacy and fundamentals and data privacy. And then we're moving forward to AI enabled practitioner, AI integrated practitioner, all the way to strategic leadership. Why those tiers? Well, because when we take the whole BBA program, we don't want to start with competencies that are, let's say, strategic leadership competencies in their first class in the university. We wanted to follow, as we have our program journey, we wanted to map all those competencies through the tiers they belong to, starting from tier 1 and graduating with competency on the tier 4 level. So if you think about it, we also apply here Bloom's taxonomy. So those competencies are not random. No, they actually follow what Bloom's recommendations are. So you can see that tier 1, what we are saying at the AI aware practitioner, corresponds to the basic level in Bloom's taxonomy, mainly remembering, understanding. As we move to tier 2, we are now starting to support students practicing their AI competency. And when we move all the way to the strategic leadership, we're on the top with evaluation and creation skills. Does this make sense? Yes. Cool. So this is
Real quick. To your question about social work, in the last session, this tiered process, we tried to create it so it was agnostic, that it could be applied to whatever different study we have at our university. We not only have a school of business, we also have a school of behavioral health and sciences, as well as education. So whatever we came up with needed to be able to be applied in different ways. And so this tiered process was the way in which it could be translated to some of the other programs. So yeah, just wanted to tie that question back in.
This is the guinea pig, right? So our whole goal, as you'll see in our concluding slides, is actually to propose to you a replicable model. So again, with those tiers, this is how our BDA program looks like and how we are mapping competencies per tiers throughout the curriculum. And this is shareable, so I see you're interested in making photographs. It's gonna be online, so you can delve in the details. But we're taking classes that start with foundational classes, and then we're moving to business foundation, and then we're moving to higher levels up to business strategy. And that's how we are mapping also those competencies. So tier 1 with the AI literacy and fundamentals goes in our very beginning core classes. And we're giving here some examples of assignments that we are including, because remember, we are not in a position, I don't know if anyone in the room is in the position of taking a program and just changing it in an academic year. We know how much program changes, course changes take time. So what we are trying to do is take what we have, because it's already great. We just want to infuse AI competencies with it, and that's what we are doing. So we are taking our existing courses, we are taking even our existing assignments and just tweak that. So if we look, for example, let's say principles of macroeconomics, where we are embedding tier 1 AI literacy competency, you can see that we are asking, for example, students to evaluate AI generated forecasts.
So with this, and that's of course brief, but we are giving instructions on how you're prompting, how you're getting an output, and how do we start to evaluate what is coming in, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, which gives us the opportunity first to train students on AI technologies, second to train students on how to generate output, third on don't take those outputs for granted, now we have to actually check them out. So with baby steps and a variety of assignments, and infusing here and there some readings and background context, we are trying to support students as they are learning business administration, also develop sound AI competencies. And you can see that we're embedding again those tiers. So you'll see that the assignments are getting more and more complex as we are climbing Bloom's ladder with that. And when we go to the last courses in this, like the strategic management, that's the capstone for the BBA program, the final course. Now here we are expecting tier 4 or strategic AI leadership from students. So you'll see that we are asking them to generate output. We are also asking them to edit it, to analyze it, to check it. And at the end, they have to insert their human effort on providing those executive ready brief. That is part of one of the assignments in the course. So the whole idea again is take what we have, and with baby steps that are getting adult steps by the end, we're using assignments so that we can provide feedback, and also we can just teach them this ethical part, this practical, ethical, and don't take for granted, and how we can use AI to make us more efficient and more on par with what is happening currently. Generally, we believe our contributions are both theoretical and practical. On the theoretical side, we are actually using this constructive alignment to introduce AI, because what we are currently observing in education is sign up for a certificate in AI, or there you go, let's do one assignment in one course with AI. But what we believe, based on the whole theoretical background that we engaged with, you cannot just get a piece of a puzzle and then expect an outcome. You have to build the whole puzzle. And that's what we are trying to do. The right pieces at the right time of program progression of students, so that we have the total, fully built puzzle by the end of the program. Also, we're bringing in the idea of scaffolding AI into our curriculum, because I don't know what are your observations and personal experience, but we have probably at this point 50% of faculty resisting AI. They're like, no, the students use AI, we have to punish them, this is a technical violation, it's not your own work, isn't it? If you are going in a company and you're asked by your employer to use AI to be efficient and produce better, faster products, what are we teaching our students if we're saying stay away from this, else it's not your work? So this is a question we all have to embrace, especially if it doesn't matter if you're in business, wherever you are, AI is already there, right? So we have to be proactive and we have to embrace it. And one of our goals as educators is to proactively teach and preach the ethical and practical use of AI in school and out there in real life. On the practical side, again, we are promoting this as a replicable framework. So we hope if you find value in it, you can take it, cite us, please, and give it a shot at your own organization. We're providing the program level mapping of those competencies. So as Laura just mentioned earlier, whatever your program is, whatever your curriculum is, taking those tiers with competencies, as long as you can map progression in your program, you can also map progression of AI competencies. And what's the top list? Well, we call sustainable implementation. Why sustainable? because it does not take a lot of effort. It's not like take a course, redesign, build new. No, you take a course if you have, it's already great. It's not going to improve it. But if it's great, take it and just infuse it. Be mindful about how you do it. With assignments, with supporting materials, with discussions, and of course with feedback on what students are doing, how they can be better, what is working, what's not working. That's what we just infusing a bit of AI teaching more. Wow, okay. Why this matters? Let's go fast. We are enhancing existing curriculum. Again, our challenge has always been for years how to be on par with business needs. We need that to be on par with business needs. Or not business, industry, right? Sorry, I keep using business. Reduce faculty resistance. As I said, we all have probably colleagues that are so against that. It's great. So let's do tiny tweaks, and with those, it's much easier to get their buy-in, to bring them on board, and hopefully with time they also find value and join our preaching. Supporting the accreditation, so we comply with all the accreditations. Naturally, we have a US framework that asks us now to do that. So it's not actually optional. It's like if you want to be, if you want to sell business education, you have to also teach students how to do that. Adaptable as it evolves, as you notice probably, we are not teaching how to use ChatGPT, how to generate images. Because AI evolves as we speak right now, new tools coming in, new features, new this, new upgrade. No, we are teaching general competencies. So there, whatever tools are out there on the market, we are working on the foundation, so it's applicable no matter what node is coming. That's the key point, by the way. Don't stick with a specific tool, don't stick with a specific prompting or something. No, it should be general so that you don't have to revise it every month. And workforce alignment, another big issue, especially business industry. If we want to sell cool programs, we want to have that in our programs. That's what we teach. So to wrap it up, yeah, what we are trying to do is design a coherent learning experience so that students think curriculum not just about business education, but also about AI use within business, because that's what they're gonna face the moment they exit our university. On time, so thank you so much.